Okay, so this will be part two, to where I just opened it up. It came apart flawlessly. Not one single screw was stuck. It was fabulous. So this is the head, the inner part of the head. That's our needle bar that goes up and down, and then that's the needle bar. I don't know, it'd be like the timer, like it sets the cam timing because the needle goes down. It has a stop. It goes ba-dup, dup, and then it goes back up. So that little ba-dup, dup is that wave right there, and it rides on this little bearing right here. So every time it goes up, ba-dup, dup, down, ba-dup, dup, and it stops it, and it lets the shuttle sling past and do its thing. Now the other thing is the thread check. So our thread check is right here, and our thread check is run on a tiny little hard metal wheel, and that is riding, this is one big cam in here. So as the needle is going around, it's riding on this cam, and it's checking the string. So, and everything is very beautifully machined. It just needs oiled. It's already running just as slick as glass. I mean, I've ran the crap out of this thing. It's running really nice. So I got to pull the needle bar out and do my machine work. But this thing's really nice. It's on the higher end machines back then. They had a brass bearing insert, so you could, I would say, replace those. Now today you're not going to replace that. You'd have to make something. But those are inserted bronze bearings, and these are liquid smooth. Yeah, they didn't make the machines in the 20s. They didn't do little bearings like that. It was cast. It was on the cast, and once that slopped out, you just threw away the machine. But this one's going to run for forever, hopefully. Just going to clean everything up, do my needle bar adjustment, and yeah, some really neat componentry. Even the spring in here, the spring's fine. Everything's happy. The story behind this one, this sat in someone's house for 50 years. The person I bought it off of, they found it in a dilapidated cabin on their property when they bought it, and they pulled this thing out and put it in their house, and it sat there for 50 years, and the property was deeded. The little building it came out of was circa 1800s. So, I'm the third owner of this machine, I think, and it has probably served a long life of work, but the previous owner never messed with it. So it sat for 50 years, and after 50 years of sitting, everything moves. It's pretty incredible, and nothing's rusted. It's just got a little patina. Okay, so I got the first stuck screw, which is that one right there. And if you're ever working on something old like this, the best tool in your box is heat. So we're just gonna heat that little guy and just do a couple heat cycles. Don't get the thing red, but just get it hot so those threads expand. Because I could torque on that all day, and all I'm going to do is strip out the flathead. So I'm just going to heat it, get it cold with oil, heat it, get it cold with oil, talk nice to it, maybe talk dirty to it, and we'll see if it pops loose. Okay, this screw is really stuck. It has so stuck, it made it out to the shop stuck instead of in the sanctity of my living room. So, well, it was getting a little smoky in there, and I kind of realized I was running the butane torch, smoking the entire house out with lint and oil. The other thing, if I was a smart man, I would just soak this in brake fluid for a couple days and not even think about it, not touch it. But I've got some krill oil. I don't have brake fluid because I have an International. So I looked all over hell for my brake fluid, and I realized I dumped it all in the International. So the brakes work until they leak out. So I've got to go buy another gallon of brake fluid. But I got krill oil or some. It's a real thin penetrant oil in here. It should be brake fluid. This is my brake fluid can for super stuck bolts. You just soak them in brake fluid, and that's a good mechanics trick brought to me by my buddy Jackie Baker, God rest. I'm gonna soak this in the thin shit, heat it, soak it, catch it on fire. I'm gonna keep working. Okay, we got it. After about 15 heat cycles, getting it nuclear hot, not red, but just hot with a butane, I finally got her to crack over. And I didn't. The biggest thing with all these flats is you do not want to molest the flat. That was perfect, and then I touched it. But if I can loosen it and get away with that, I'll take it. So I loosened it. And that took me 1 hour and 15 minutes. I'm calling it a day, boys. I'm done. As to the reason why it was so tight, it's some kind of bastard tapered locking screw. Man, did it fight me. Okay, now we're in here and we can pull the bar out. But there's a neat thing. So back in 1885, some poor bastard had to come in here and mill this flat track, right? That one. Inside that, underneath, there's a smaller track that's been milled with a key that a wheel rides in that keeps this from churning. So there's a little wheel that's riding in there. That's a lot more machining than even I have to do at work. That's impressive. Back before computers. Back when people were smart. Okay, so I got it's still not coming out. We got it free, but then all the oil that was underneath here that hadn't been ever touched in 140 years, pre-1910, safe to say, most sewing machine oils in the manuals, they say use lamp oil. And lamp oil was whale oil. So all this oil, once it has sat for a long time, turns into this really thick, crusty goo. It's breaking down because I put thinner on it, but it's like coal. And the equivalent of what I'm trying to do, this is like trying to shove a dirty valve right through the stem when it's all crusty. So I got to clean that off, then she'll pop free, and then we can. What were we doing again? Machine it for the needle. Needle. We got to do the needle. So yeah, we'll do the needle. And then we'll reassemble, and then it probably won't work right, and we'll have to needle it again. Okay, so we got it out. That's the needle bar. That is a beast and a half. We'll do our work down here. That's the only thing that needs touched. But the yearbit up, and then it's got this is what holds the needle bar from twisting. So that little screw, it's pinching on a track. See that little pincher? So it's pinching on a track, and it's adjustable for wear. Look at that. They milled the track, they cut that, and then they made this part so if it ever got sloppy, you could adjust it. And it's not been adjusted, and I'll heat it up, make it so I can adjust it. Oh my God. I love taking these things apart. Smart people build these. These are fun to work on. They're like, if you think about it, this is probably 1885. That is a fairly complex part to machine. Not only that, the other side's worse. Look at that. If you came through my door and asked me to make you this, I would show you the door. And we're in some pretty modern times. Now, this is pretty neat. This little casting. See that? It's a lot. Hold on. There's a lot going on there. Oh, that was faced off of the lathe. Flip around, put a little pin in. The opposite side is faced. That center part is scooped out. Then they put that little free whirling high carbon wheel in there, press the pin in, ground said pin off, drilled and counterbored. And those are just some grinder marks, but what a pain in the ass part to make. Are you kidding me? That would be a bitch to make. I don't want to make that kind of part. I mean, sometimes I have to make parts, but damn, not that. Anything but that.